Hello everyone. So we will see a demo for the trigger. For a simple scenario for the trigger application, we are going to see. Now you all know that what is trigger. Trigger is a special procedure which invokes or which runs automatically in response to some database events like insert, update and delete. So we'll see one application for the trigger. The scenario is if somebody by mistake deletes the record from the student, how we can take the backup of that record into backup table with the help of trigger. So we will see that. So first thing, when you will start this practical, then what you need to do, you need to first create the database. Okay. So in that database only we are going to execute everything. So database, to create the database, we have the command is create database student DB. We have created a student DB database over here. We need to use that database, use student DB, and inside that we are going to create all the tables and we are going to write our trigger. So first step is we need a student table where we are going to store the information about our students. So this is a sample table student, create table student, where we are storing the information like roll number, name and marks, where roll number is primary key. So I have already created this table. Then we need to insert the data into student table. So we have inserted three sample values for Amit, Neha and Rahul. So these three students we have inserted. We will need one more table over here, that is our backup table. Okay. So in this backup table, the same attributes will be there which we have in our student table, roll number, name and marks. But along with that, we are also storing a timestamp. So one more attribute is there, that recorded time means at what time that record has deleted, which we are going to store into our backup table. Okay. Now we will check what is there in our student table. So in our student table, there are three values for roll number 1 to 3. And if you check in our backup table, there is nothing. So no values are stored yet. Okay. So now we will write a trigger for our application. So to write a trigger, what we need to do, we need to change our delimiter. So we will change our delimiter from semicolon to double slash. Why do we need it? Because we are going to write a complete procedure where the semicolon will come multiple times. So we don't want to end our procedure or the trigger over there. So that's why we are changing our delimiter from semicolon to double slash. So we'll change our delimiter and then we'll write our trigger. So create trigger. Now when we will give a name to a trigger, the normal convention for naming the trigger is we should include the event details also. At what time we want to execute that trigger. So I want to execute it before delete. So before delete on student table, we are executing this trigger before delete underscore student. So this is a type of trigger as well. It's a before delete trigger. Now this is the name of the trigger. After that, what we need to specify? We need to specify at the event details. Means when I want to execute it, I want to execute it before. So there are two types of events. Events means timing we can say before or after. So here before delete I should take the backup of that record. That's why we are writing before over here. So before, then which events, on which event I want to execute it, delete. So that's why delete. Then on which table I want to execute it. So every trigger will be associated with certain table. So we need to specify that table over here. So before delete on student. After, so not student, DB, it's a student. This is a, we need to specify our student table. So student table. So on student table I want to execute it. Then after this trigger, it is of row level trigger. So we need to specify for each row. It's a row level trigger. There are two types of trigger, row level and statement level trigger. Row level trigger executes multiple times uh, based table times for each SQL updation. Okay, statement level trigger will execute only once for each execution, but row level trigger can execute multiple times for each trigger execution. So here in the row level trigger, we can have the access to the old and new pointer to access the data which is changed for that particular row. So here after that, I need to say begin of my trigger code, and in the begin we will write our insert statement for the backup table. So insert into student underscore backup. This is the name of my table, backup table, and in that we need to specify the values which we want to insert. So values, and here I will use old pointer to access our records. So we have a old roll number, then name, then marks. So these three records we want to insert. Along with that, we also want to insert timestamp. So to access the current timestamp, we have the function now. So now will give us the current timestamp for the time when we are going to delete that particular record. Okay. So now this is the insert into statement which we have written. Any mistake is there? No. Okay, so do now. Okay. So this is the end of our trigger. And to terminate this trigger, now this is the end of the trigger. So I should use delimiter. So that is for now it is double slash. Then again I need to change my delimiter to my previous one, that is semicolon. So we'll execute this trigger, and we will this trigger has executed successfully, and now we will check how this trigger works. So for that, what I need to do, I need to execute the delete statement on my student table. So now we have seen that there is nothing in the backup table, right? So we need to write here, we will delete one record. So we will delete a roll number 1 record over here. Okay, so we'll delete from student where roll number is equal to 2. Okay, so see, delete has successfully executed. We will check what is there in our student table. So previously we were having 3 records in the student table, and now we will check there are 2 records only. So we have deleted roll number 2 over here, and now we will check our backup table, student underscore backup. So see here, the record which we have deleted for the roll number 2, Neha, uh, her record, it has inserted into our backup table, and recorded timestamp also it has inserted. So now here by seeing this demo, you can understand that you do not need to call the trigger explicitly. Trigger automatically invokes when that particular event will occur, and here the event was deletion. So what the trigger we have written is for the delete, before delete, and when we have deleted that, when we have deleted a record from the student table, automatically its backup or its data which we have deleted, it has stored into backup table. So in this way, in the background, trigger help us to perform different operations like taking the backup or maintaining some extra information about the operations which we are going to do with the database. So this is, we have seen one of the application for the trigger.